Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. This astrology report is for the week of May 20th, and I hope that everyone got through those remaining Scorpio full moon energies. That was one that held on so strong because the ruling planet Pluto just stationed retrograde, so that planet's effects, the transformative, deep effects that Pluto has on us are felt very strongly. They're the full moon in Scorpio. And this week, we are ending the week with our new moon in Gemini. We have our season changing. We are moving out of Taurus time and into Gemini. Actually, that has already taken place before I recorded this show. And the sun moves into a new sign. And then that triggers that new time. So we have the sun in Gemini, and that is, a big theme of the week. We've got the sun moving to Gemini. We've got Mercury moving into Gemini, and that new moon in Gemini. But lots of other things happening. We are having also a very major planet, Saturn, moving into a new sign this week. So a ton going on. And as Saturn moves from that 29th degree of Pisces into the the 0 degrees of Aries, that is known as the world point. And so this is the cardinal sign of Aries that initiates and starts things, and the planet of Saturn that is an ambitious energy and is the responsible energy, that is the planet that rules and boundaries and reality and time, and is the karmic lord of all the planets. Saturn is, and here on the world point, that stimulates that in you see that on the greater scale. So Neptune has just done this, and really truly is still in this very stimulating world point zone. Neptune's at 1 degree 38 minutes, almost 2 degrees of the sign of Aries. There's 30 degrees in every sign. So those first degrees, you kind of get that first phase of that sign, the middle degrees, and then the end of the story at the end. So moving from Pisces into Aries, this is also the 12th sign, Pisces, and the first sign of the zodiac, Aries. So it's about endings and new beginnings, and stimulating this world point, stimulating this cardinal initiatory energy. And this is going to be a theme for a while. We're going to see these bigger world events taking place as these two planets are going to be moving in a retrograde. They're going to actually move backwards, back over this exact point we're talking about, this 0 degree point of Aries, the world point. They're going to move back later this year and then come back into Aries in 2026. So really, it is the beginning phase of what this stimulated world point is going to bring us. It's critical, and it can cause big events that we see. It can cause weather events. It can cause events in the government and structural things that are taking place in the world, powers at large. It can be earth events. It can really stir up a lot of surprises and some tension and even some shock. So this could be a very interesting year as we see now these two planets stimulating this world point, going to be moving backwards and then coming over it again and completing the cycle there. On a little smaller of a scale, we also have Venus and Mars, the cosmic lovers. The Venus is the planet of love and of money and of beautiful things, and is kind of the feminine counterpart to Mars. And Mars is the other cosmic lover. Mars is the masculine energy, the warrior, the action-oriented planet. And these two are in a trine, and they're going to be for a while. And this is great cooperation. A trine is really smooth flowing energy. They're both in fire signs too, so it's kind of an outward. It could be even a little tense because of that fiery vibe that comes in, and then it could be very quick too because this type of energy and the trine. So this is another kind of overarching thing that's taking place as we move into the week. And another thing to kind of understand about this week is that it is definitely a week of changes. This is going to be, we are moving out of more of that feminine energy that we were in, and with Taurus and Pisces and moving into Aries and Gemini with Mars and Leo. And these are all kind of masculine outward energies. And so this week is going to feel like we do jump in to a warmer, a quicker moving vibe. And so starting on May 20th, the moon is in Pisces. And so we're going to be building up to that Gemini new moon on May 26th, on Monday of this coming week. But the moon starts in Pisces this week, and we just talked about Pisces. Pisces is about endings, and we have the North Node here, so we can stimulate some of our plans that we're making for the future, some of those dreams that we have, some of that fateful, even destined things that are coming into our life. The moon is going to kind of stir up some of that. It's going to move over the top of Saturn also, and kind of, ushering Saturn into this world point. But on the 20th, the sun is in a sextile to Saturn. And the sun is like our personal identity. So this is like our focus. This is what we're experiencing. This week, we have a ton of trines and sextiles, and the chart looks very, very smooth and easy. And the new moon looks like a beautiful landing point. And we start the week with this sun sextile Saturn. And Saturn has been coming to some serious decisions and making some endings happen in Pisces. And so we come into that comes into our space today. Some of those critical decisions, that have been made. Saturn is definitely, in Pisces, it gets distorted a little bit. The facts. Saturn likes to see things straight, but in Pisces has a harder time. Things are a little bit distorted, the edges are blurred out a little bit of everything. So it can be a spot that is a little more challenging for Saturn, but also pushes Saturn to think outside of the box just a little bit and not stick to the traditional rules and boundaries that it usually does. And in Pisces, we have to try and be careful with this Saturnian energy. We really want to take responsibility for all these things. And in Pisces, sometimes energies can collect on us, and we can take on energies and burdens and things that really need to happen. We can take those things on in Pisces, and as we move into Aries, we will definitely be shaking those things off. And the 20th of May is also the day that the sun moves into Gemini. So Gemini is an air sign. It's a mutable energy, so it very much likes to be flexible and is okay with things kind of shifting and moving and the plans changing a little bit. And we know how busy this time of year can get. And so Gemini energy with that mutability is really important to lean into. And Gemini brings in more information. This is a sign that is ruled by Mercury, the planet of the mind and of our mental capacity and our mental spaces. And we can definitely be thinking a lot more and communicating a lot more with the sun in Gemini. We could see lots of conversations, lots of emails, texts, sending messages back and forth. All that stuff is ruled by Gemini. And you'll see lots of questions being asked. Gemini loves to ask questions and is very, very curious. And Gemini is the sign of the twins. So during the season of Gemini, we tend to see things happening in pairs. So look for those doubles. Jupiter is in Gemini right now also, and Jupiter's a big energy and is kind of expanding Gemini energy right now. So this could absolutely lead to a lot of this and a lot of that, and then some of this and to that and to this and to that. Gemini's just kind of real busy like that, really hands-on and just really mental. So that is, how we jump into it here in the last couple of weeks of May. And then on the 22nd, that same sun crosses over into Gemini and makes a sextile with Neptune. Neptune, who has already made the step from Pisces into Aries. And Neptune is the planet of our hopes, our dreams, and our desires, and is an energy that is always creating and is always connected to source energy. This is a very intuitive planet. Neptune is the most intuitive, connected to, those source messages. And the sun in a sextile. Here we are with another sextile this week. It's just a flowing week. And sextiles are very cooperative. They're just smooth and easy and nice, and it's very free flowing in a way. And with Neptune, we could be dreaming. This could be just really, really dreamy, up in our heads about everything, in Gemini, and looking into these really dreamy spaces that Neptune allows us to see and create more of a vision, and then coming into the weekend, well, actually May 22nd, that's the day that the moon moves into Aries. So we're ticking along here. The Aries energy, when the moon is there, is always very different than Pisces. So Thursday and moving into Friday with that moon in Aries could feel a little more spicy. It could feel like you need to explore new things a little bit more, kind of freshen things up a little bit. Aries is ruled by Mars, and it's like kind of a fighty, kind of aggressive type of energy, but very confident and not afraid to, step up and try something new or start something new. So that could be kind of the vibe for those couple of days while the moon is moving through Aries. And then come May 24th, this is Saturday. This is a very, very busy day. And also the 22nd, another very busy day. There are a ton of lunar aspects on the 22nd. and on the 24th, and then again on the 26th. And with lots of lunar aspects, it's kind of a lot for me to break down when there's so many other things going on that I need to cover. So I don't get to always cover the lunar aspects, but they're always happening. And the every other day this week is really busy with that. But on the 24th, the moon moves into Taurus. We get an earthy, grounded type of energy ruled by Venus, just likes things to be really nice. And we kind of go through that nice Venus mode with the moon for Saturday and Sunday. But Saturday is the day that Saturn is moving. Oh, I love that. Saturday is the day that Saturn day. The days were originally named after after some of these. And so Saturday is actually named after Saturn day. Sunday is the sun's day. Monday is named after the moon day. So, yeah, that's awesome. Saturn is moving into Aries on Saturday, May 24th. And this is going to lead to more of this Aries energy, taking charge, being confident, being bold, starting some new things. Pisces is gone. We've released. And if there's things that you still need to release this week, do so. Although, I did talk about how we get the retrograde and then moving back, but the more you can release early on from this, the better. And so release, because this Aries energy brings in so much new stuff, and Saturn is going to buckle down and get busy, likes to get things done. And Aries is let's go, ruled by Mars. I go in one direction and I get there. So Saturn in Aries is not an energy that we have seen for 35 years. That's how long it takes Saturn to come around. And so I know that there's probably a few listeners out there who have never seen Saturn in Aries in their lifetime. But for those over the age of 35, you can actually look back 35 years ago and see what was going on while Saturn was moving through Aries and what that brought into your life. And it kind of gives you a little bit of extra information about how that affected you and what may be to come. But Saturn likes to get busy in Aries and build and take steps. So Mercury on May 25th is moving into Gemini, is going to quickly catch up with the sun. I believe, next week we'll be talking about the Mercury Sun conjunction here in Gemini. And Mercury has another sextile, just a very smooth, easy flowing week this week, and with Saturn. So Mercury brings in information. We're going to be learning some more information from Saturn here. What is this new journey in Aries going to be about for us? And basically Mercury is going to come through and repeat that sextile with Saturn, and then going to do it again with Neptune also. So repeating that same cycle there. And then this week ends with the new moon in Gemini on Monday, May 24th. And this is a beautiful chart. I've been looking at this, and it is all supportive sextiles and trines, and we deserve this so much. This week just ends so beautifully with this new moon, and new moons are all about new beginnings. They're all about creating some new intentions for the coming cycle, the coming lunar cycle. And this is very, very close in to Mercury. It is taking place, at 6 degrees of Gemini. And it is in a sextile with this Saturn Neptune. It is in a trine with Pluto in Aquarius. And and it is just easy and flowing and very transformative. This Pluto in Aquarius, we're still learning about because Pluto just moved into Aquarius earlier this year and is the planet ultimately of transformations that are permanent and that will affect us for the rest of our life. And so this is kind of a rare minor grand trine is what it's called. And we're in it. Uranus is also in this at 28 degrees of Taurus. I mean, almost everybody's involved here. The North Node is right there at 24 degrees of Pisces. And Jupiter is even in Gemini here too. The only ones that aren't involved are the cosmic lovers, which are fine because they're supporting each other and they're doing the work that they need to be doing to support all that's going on over here with this minor grand trine. And Chiron, hanging out in the last few degrees of Aries, but in Aries and supporting the newly transferred Saturn and Neptune there. So, man, everything just fits together so beautifully here. These new moon intentions, I really feel like are very, very important and are going to be very potent. No matter what those intentions are and how we use the energy here, hopefully for its most benevolent outcome for all. But no matter how we do it and what takes place over the weekend and into this new moon on Monday, it's going to be lasting with Pluto there. It's going to be big energy with the Aries coming through, and it's going to make an effect on things for this upcoming Gemini season, and also just as we move into the future. And Gemini is going on hard right now. So, get curious, get your data. And Gemini doesn't necessarily crunch the data. It just gathers. And so be an open sponge for information right now. Listen as my guru local astrologer, Eileen Locke would say. She would say you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, because we should be listening more than we speak. And I do feel like this new moon is a good opportunity to do so if we can control all of this big Gemini energy and move through it with some grace that is available also. So anyways, I hope that was helpful to you, and I really appreciate you being here in the cosmic community, banging through the astrology with me, Stacy Dredd, the Galactic Ambassador, and I will be chatting with you again very soon. Take care of yourselves. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.